And welcome to another episode of GamerHeads. My name is Roger, aka Rogue Leader 76, and with me are my co-host Blue,
aka Writer's View,
and my co-host Christian,
aka Fulgan.
Unfortunately, Mike wasn't able to make it. That son of a motherless goat. That's one of my favorite movies. Is Three Amigos. Have you guys seen that movie?
No.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't expect Christian to see it. But yeah, unfortunately he couldn't make it. It was funny that, you both messaged him something sad, and then I messaged him, "You sons of a motherless goat."
It was very funny, Roger.
Yeah. I thought it was hilarious. But anyway, he'll be back next week, hopefully. Yeah, he will be. But, unfortunately he couldn't make it with us. We have a lot to cover this week. We have, obviously, some gaming news. We have news about Nintendo Switch lifetime sales in Japan. We have news about the Nintendo Direct, and more news about Detective Pikachu. We also have our hot topic this week, which is Microsoft and Sony teaming up on streaming services, or streaming cloud services, I should say. And then we have an interview with Erin Kim from NIS America. That'll be part of the show as well. And then obviously your listener feedback too. So yeah, we got a lot to cover. But before we get into all that, just like every week, we do have an icebreaker. And Blue, this actually came from an article that you shared with us, and you said, "Hey, we should do a hot topic on this."
Well, just an icebreaker because...
icebreaker.
Yeah, it was revealed this week that it's been confirmed that Robert Pattinson of Twilight fame is going to be the new Batman.
Yeah. So...
which is an interesting choice. I think.
Yeah. Well, my wife pointed out to me, because I went, "Oh no, are you kidding me? I'm done with DC. I'm done. And she said, "Well, do you remember when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker?" And you said the same exact thing, and then you're like, after you saw it, you're like, "Oh my gosh, that was amazing." And I said, "Yeah, I do remember that." But the writing has been bad the last couple movies for DC, so...
Shazam was pretty neat.
I haven't seen that movie yet.
Oh, you'll like it.
Okay. But with that in mind, I wanted to talk about who our favorite Batman is of all time, and then what is your favorite Batman video game, if you played Batman video games. I don't know. I don't know if either of you are huge Batman fans to play Batman video games, but I've played almost every one that's come out. So.
Jeez.
Wow.
Well, I'm a
That's
huge
a
Batman
lot.
fan. Yeah. So, I'll start us off then. I'll say my favorite Batman. So it's a tie. It's a tie. Well, so I'm also going to include animated. What is his name? Kevin. Oh boy, now I can't remember his last name.
I guess
Glowing?
he's not really that much of your favorite then.
I guess not.
Kevin Conroy, you're talking?
Yeah, Conrad. I love the fact, that he's the first Batman in, I don't know if it's in animated or if it's Batman altogether that did different voices for Bruce Wayne and then Batman. So
Christian Bale
well
had his Batman voice. Don't forget.
Yeah, but that was after the animated series. But I'd say that the animated Batman, or I really like, and I think I like it just because it was something I grew up with and it was just unique. But I do like Adam West's Batman as well. I just because it's so campy and just kind of weird, but I respect it, so I like it. And then my favorite Batman game of all time, I really like the Arkham series, but I would say I really, really, really liked Batman Returns for the Super Nintendo. That was a really fun game. I would say that's my favorite one.
I haven't played that one.
Oh, you haven't played that? Oh, it's a good game.
No.
Christian, have you played that one?
A tiny little bit. Not much.
Oh, okay. Blue, who's your favorite Batman?
So, I was a huge Batman fan for a couple years when I was a very young child.
Oh.
And I loved the Adam West series.
Yeah.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I had, like, the board game that was from that TV show.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, to me, that's what Batman is. It's people running around in suits with silly names. And it should be fun and colorful. And, you know, whether you want to argue about whether that show actually stands up, that's a whole other discussion. But when Batman got dark and serious, and you're supposed to believe that people run around in costumes with silly names, and you're supposed to take it seriously, that's kind of when Batman lost me.
Oh.
So I can't make that logic leap. It's not serious. Wow. It's silly. Your name is the Penguin. I can't do it. I can't do it. So, Adam West is my favorite Batman. But my favorite Batman game, by default, is the NES Batman that was based on the 1989 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've played.
Okay.
So, but it's fun.
Did you like the movie? Did you like the 89 movie, Batman, and then Batman Returns? Or
no.
Yeah, Batman Returns.
No. I mean, I like Batman Returns only for the Michelle Pfeiffer parts.
Yeah.
As Catwoman.
Really,
she was
really
the best,
good.
Like the best Catwoman ever.
Oh my gosh.
And so I only watch those scenes and I fast forward the rest of it.
Yeah. You know what was? I mean, yeah, she was really fantastic in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like? I'm just curious because you liked the campy Batman. Did you like then the George Clooney Batman?
No, that
Okay.
was that tone was just, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It just didn't work.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe for me, Batman was something that I enjoyed as a child, and then when I got older and was thinking too much about it, you know, I left Batman behind. I don't know, but
yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I understand that. I can get that. And I think for me, what ruined it was George Clooney, like as Batman. But then, you know, as Christian Bale as Batman, and the first Batman Begins, and then the second one with the Joker. What was that one?
Suicide Squad?
Yeah, that one. Oh no. I don't remember, what was it? Batman Rises or something like that. Dark Knight Rises, I think, or something. I don't know, but I don't know. I liked Heath Ledger as the Joker. I thought he did a good job.
yeah, it's like, of all of the crazy villains that are in the Batman universe, I think every once in a while you find an actor who gets it, who captures the tone perfectly. And I think it was Michelle Pfeiffer, and then I think it was Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just in their shadow.
Yeah. Agreed. What about you, Christian? Who is your favorite Batman and favorite Batman game?
Well, despite the fact that The Dark Knight is probably one of my favorite movies of all time, Batman really isn't the reason because of it. Because I like Dark Knight so much. So I've got a soft spot for George Clooney Batman because he's awesome. He's got the Bat credit card. He's got the Bat nipples, and he makes them work. But my favorite would probably also have to be Bruise, which is Adam West, because he's just iconic.
Yeah.
And he gives me a nice warm heart whenever I see him pop up. Like Adam West is in the most recent Lego Batman games. I think he was in 3 predominantly. And you got to save the Adam Wests, and that was really cute. And there's also the 60s Batman levels, which were really great. I just love that campy silliness. It's something that I really like a lot.
Heck yeah. That show is like everything great about the 60s put into a show.
Yeah.
Except kids can watch it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Adam West actually was in an episode of the animated series, Batman animated series. If you haven't seen it, you should really watch it. And he plays the Gray Ghost. And it was this TV series character from like the 60s, and Bruce Wayne grew up watching him as a Gray Ghost, and then inspired him to be Batman. And then he has to work with the Gray Ghost to solve a crime. Somebody's coming back as one of Gray Ghost's villains from the past, and Adam West's character is a down and out actor that that doesn't really have any job prospects anymore, and people forgot him as the Gray Ghost, and it's an interesting episode, and I know that Adam West did struggle with finding work after Batman, so it's a very interesting play on the characterization of things that we held on to when we were kids and such. So really interesting. Did you say your favorite game? Sorry,
I did not.
Okay.
My favorite Batman game has to be Arkham Asylum. I've played through all the other games, but Arkham Asylum is still tight and focused in a way that I really like a lot. And I went back and played it through for like the 6th time last year, thanks to the PS4 remasters.
Yeah.
And that was like a 1-day platinum. Oh, it felt so good just burning through and 100%ing that game. I love that game a lot.
Yeah. That game really scares me a lot, actually.
Really? The Scarecrow bits?
Oh, I love it. It's a really scary game.
Okay.
I mean, when you're walking through Arkham Asylum, it's scary.
I guess so.
I don't know.
I guess so.
Yeah, Christian's like, I don't know what you're talking
Well, when I
about.
played it through the first time, my dad got it for us on PS3 back in the day, and I played through the demo like over and over and over and over, and that was just like 2 gameplay sequences, and that was it. And so once I finally got the full game, I was just like enthralled. And then I got to the part where you have to open the body bags, and it's a Scarecrow sequence. You have to open 3 body bags, and one of them's your mom, one of them's Bruce Wayne's mom, one's Bruce's dad, and then one is the Scarecrow pops out. I opened one of the body bags, and then like his dad popped out, and I just had to walk away for a little while. I couldn't handle it.
Take a lap.
Yeah, I had to.
Oh, yeah. Those are good games, though, for sure. So listeners, who's your favorite Batman, and what is your favorite Batman game? You can let us know by sending us a tweet at GamerHeadsPC. You can send us an email as well at info@gamerheadspodcast.com. You can go to Facebook, and that's facebook.com/GamerHeadsPodcast, or you can go to our website, and it's GamerHeadsPodcast.com, and leave us a message there as well. All right. Moving on to our gaming news. So the very first thing here, the very first item. Blue, do you want to take that first item?
Sure. This is from Metro. Nintendo Switch lifetime sales have beaten the PS4 in Japan. And this is despite the PlayStation 4 having a 3-year head start on the Switch. So lifetime sales in Japan now stand at 77,756 compared to 8,125,637 for the Switch.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I didn't include this, but one thing the article said, I didn't realize this either, that Japan is the second largest gaming industry for video games behind the US. I
second largest
surprised.
market?
Yeah, second largest market, I guess, behind the US.
That's
and
crazy. What's the population of Japan?
I don't know. I don't know, but you know what's not on that list? Xbox.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
What?
I mean,
126.8 million as of 2017.
Okay.
Jeez.
So that's that's
a
lot of sales.
And then
though.
the US is 327.2 million as of last year.
Oh.
So not quite 3 times as much.
Yeah.
They play more games than we do.
Yeah, that's
apparently.
I guess so. But
yeah,
that's insane. Like, first of all, I didn't realize that it was only 3 years difference. I guess It feels like the PlayStation 4 has been out for a really long time.
We're bored with it. It's old now.
Yeah. When I heard 3 years, I'm like, no, it's been more than 3 years. Really?
Well, I mean, it's been 5 years. Because the Switch has been out 2 years. Yeah.
But even still, the Switch doesn't seem like it's been out for 2 years. It seems like there's a lot bigger gap between the PlayStation 4 and the Switch. It just feels like the PlayStation 4 has been out for a lot longer than 5 years. But I guess. So that's cool. I mean, that's crazy. It'd be crazy to see how it compares to the US. I didn't see any numbers on that.
Yeah, I suppose I suppose if it had beaten it outright everywhere, then that would have been a different headline.
Yeah, yeah. But still, the sales in Japan that's pretty amazing.
Selling fast.
Yeah. So the next item that I have here is from the Denver Post. I'll take this one. So the New York teen earns 6 figures from video games and related income. So Griffin Szpakowski, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, spends 18 hours a day playing Fortnite and streaming on YouTube. He has 1.2 million subscribers and 71 million views, which gets him sponsors and advertisers alike. And he made almost $200,000 last year, and he's 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. When he's not playing video games, he's completing his schoolwork online. So there was a quote in there from his parents basically saying, "I didn't realize how good he was at video games. Turns out he's really good."
Yeah. You better get that kid an accountant.
Yeah. They did actually. They went and got an accountant and created an incorporation for him and such. So, but 14, I had to go get a worker's permit to be able to work at 14. And I was not making $200,000 a year. I was making $4.25 an hour doing dishes. Oh.
Yeah, see, I suppose that's the difference when you're working for somebody else or you're being an entrepreneur.
Yep. Mom and Dad, you should have cultivated my video game playing some more, I guess.
It's so crazy, though, because this is something that could never have happened before, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
This is the only time that things like this could have happened.
I know. That's crazy. It is crazy.
It's crazy. I think it's great.
Christian, I feel like you could make a living off of playing video games.
I wish, Roger. I feel like I don't have that kind of magnanimous, exaggerated personality that a lot of the content creators do.
Yep. Not at all. I think you do. I think that, you are a driven person. You, have more platinums than anybody else I know. What are you at for platinums now?
102 as of today.
Oh, so you slowed down a little bit then.
A lot of it.
Roger sounds so disappointed in you now.
Yeah, I let him down.
But no, I think that you are dedicated to completing games much more than I am. I feel like you would be good at this. You should do this for a living.
Well, a lot of these people, they just sit there and play Fortnite for a year straight, and I can't do that. That would be very, very mentally taxing in a not good way. I just ping pong between so many games at once, so I don't think that would be very conducive to content creation. But I could be wrong, Roger.
Yeah, but $200,000—that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, Christian, you want to take the next one here?
Sure. This is from Nintendo. There was a Mario Maker Nintendo Direct, and it was awesome. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm really excited for Mario Maker 2 now.
Yeah, me too.
I know, right?
I know.
100. It's got a story mode with 100 plus new levels. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. It looks. At first, when they first showed a little bit of it, I was like, well, this is no different than we had before, but it's cool, And then they started like adding all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a Wii until recently, so I never played the first Mario Maker. So I mean, I'm pumped. I think this is going to be so fun.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, a lot of people. I've heard a lot of it's just like what we had before, whatever. And I was like, but I didn't have it before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think they could have totally gotten away with just a direct port onto the Switch, but they're adding more to it on top of porting it over to the Switch. And by bringing it to the Switch, that game's going to get in a lot more people's hands than it did back on the Wii U. And we're going to get a lot more levels to play in because of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I hope that. Oh, go ahead.
original music by Koji Kondo.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. That's
Yes.
so cool. Oh man. I hope that you can make like kind of a story yourself with this, with this game.
That'd be cool.
That would be
Well,
cool.
I mean, I suppose you could just make your own levels and tell a story through your levels.
I
but-
guess.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't. So I played a little bit of the first one on the 3DS, but I don't remember if you can add like text or not to the game. I'm
Oh,
hoping
I
you
feel like they would
can.
have said that if you could.
Yeah. I mean,
Though
that'd be cool if you
also, considering that you share your levels online, just
Yeah.
giving people freedom with text seems real sketchy.
can. That's true. That's true. But the one thing that was cool too, that I was just like, wow, like you could do so many cool things with this, but like the conditions to beat a level. So even if you make it to the end of the level, and if you didn't like beat the conditions, you didn't beat the level. Like you might have to kill like 15 dry bones, or you have to like collect like 500 gold or coins or whatever. So like that's
Mhm.
awesome. It's so cool.
You're going to
Yeah.
make some hard levels.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I think what's so cool about it, and obviously people who played it before will know, but it's like essentially it's like a never-ending game because you
Yeah.
can people can share their levels, so you could just play forever if you wanted to.
Yeah. Even if you didn't want to make levels, you could just go out and play other people's. That's
Mhm.
crazy. So exciting. Blue, do you want to take the last one here?
Okay. This is from Nintendo Life, and there is a rumor that a sequel to Detective Pikachu is already in development. Yay, Roger, huh?
Yeah.
According to the source, multiple individuals involved in the original production have confirmed that Legendary Entertainment is moving forward with a second outing, once again starring the electric rodent voiced by Ryan Reynolds. Apart from this, there's no other information about the film, and Legendary itself did not respond when contacted by the website. This follows on from an exclusive on the Hollywood Reporter website earlier this year, suggesting that Legendary Entertainment had reportedly hired Erin to
think
write a
so.
script for the sequel. Uziel previously worked on films such as 22 Jump Street, The Cloverfield Paradox, and is also responsible for the live-action CGI adaptation of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's such interesting wording. He's responsible. Get him.
Yeah. So I will say this. Apparently, I might be in the minority. The thing in this movie is not that
You
good.
are in the minority. Everybody loves it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Everybody loves it.
I know. But there's...
Welcome to my world, Roger.
The writing is so bad. There's no reason to like any
People
of these
don't
characters.
care.
So bad.
Nobody cares.
It's so bad. And
It's like that meme
terrible.
from the first Jurassic Park. Like,
Yeah.
God, what's the line? The tech guy's line though. He's like,
Oh,
"Hey, it's
yeah.
stealing dinosaurs or whatever over here. Anybody?" He's like, "See, nobody cares." God,
Yeah.
what's that line though?
I know. I will say I think a lot of movie critics are on the page of it's not a very good movie, but a lot of like fans of Pokemon are like, this is really good. This is amazing. And I mean, have either of you seen it yet?
No.
No.
Okay. So I'm just curious of how they're gonna do Ryan Reynolds back because, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I don't know how they're gonna do that, but yeah,
Maybe Oren Uziel will find a very ingenious way, Roger.
maybe, or maybe they won't do Detective Pikachu. Maybe they'll do like a different Pokemon.
Well,
Like
if they
thing.
can get Ryan Reynolds on board, they're not going to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's just gonna be. It's gonna be weird. Anyway, I don't know. But you know what? When Sonic the Hedgehog comes out, there are going to be a lot of people that are like, this is a great movie. I can't believe how awesome it was. And
They probably will.
yeah.
The majority of people are extremely easy to please.
Yeah,
And that is a wonderful quality. And they live very happy
true.
lives.
That's true. Unless you're fans of Game of Thrones, apparently. Because...
Well, I'm sure they're just not the ones on Twitter every night screaming about, rewrites.
Weren't you the one that Christian said? This is the problem when you name your kid after fictional characters.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah. So anyway, anything else? Do either of you have anything for the news?
I have some news.
Ooh.
There were 10 more titles revealed for the
yeah.
Sega Mega Drive Mini.
Yes, I forgot. Yes, there was actually a lot of news this week. I totally forgot about some of this, but yeah.
That's why I always send you links.
I know. I forgot this one. Yeah, 10 new. So yeah, list off. Or do you have a list?
I do. I have it pulled up.
Okay.
So we're getting Mega Man: The Wily Wars, Street Fighter 2 Special Championship Edition, Ghosts and Ghouls, Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, Beyond Oasis, Golden Axe, Phantasy Star 4, Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball, Vector Man, and Wonder Boy in Monster World.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really solid. I think they checked a lot of the boxes that they needed to there. I mean, Sonic Spinball. I don't like Sonic Spinball at all. I played through it beginning to end and I hated it, but it's pretty obligatory if you're putting it on a Genesis thing. You gotta have the main Sonic mainstays on there.
But yeah, I'm pumped for Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
And of course that joins the previous lineup, which also has Castle of Illusion and World of Illusion.
Yeah.
So
pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there more games they're going to announce yet? I mean, they haven't announced them all yet, have they? I don't remember.
That's a good
I think
question.
it's going to be a total of 40.
Okay.
So, no. So, yeah, I don't think they've said them all.
Okay. So I think they have like another 10 yet, right?
Yeah, that seems right. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's solid. I mean, I don't know. I'm tempted, but I feel like I just went to Walmart yesterday and I saw like the Sonic's like collection on Xbox 360 and it includes a lot of those games and I'm like, that was like $10.
Yeah, and I was looking for a price on this and Nintendo Life listed at $80.
Yeah.
Which I mean, yeah.
It's a pretty penny.
It is. And I have most of these in other places. The ones I don't have are the ones I mentioned, which is Wonder Boy and Castle of Illusion and World of Illusion.
Yeah.
So, are those 3 games worth $80?
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I don't know. Yeah, but it's cool. I'm excited. I mean, it's exciting times for sure to be a gamer.
Maybe.
So,
well, I'm not going to pre-order it, definitely, because after the PS1 Mini, maybe people won't be as interested, and it will go down in price quickly.
Yeah, but I feel like when they announced the games for the PS1 Mini, people were like, "Really? This is the lineup?" And like, feel like the feel of what the lineup is for the Sega one is. I mean, I feel people are like a lot more excited for it than the PlayStation.
I think that's probably anecdotally that's what I'm seeing as well.
And I also think that the emulation is probably going to be better, I think, on the Sega one than the Sony one. Like the Sony one just, I don't know, there was a lot of things wrong with that one. They just wanted to tap into the market and just did a really cheap way of doing it. And I think I've seen it at like Walmart for like $50 now.
And it started at $100, I think.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
It has the Wily Wars, though. That one has me very intrigued.
Yeah.
Because that never came out physically in the US.
Oh. Yeah,
and it's Mega Man 1, 2, and 3. Fantastic trilogy of games. Possibly one of the best.
Wow.
In my opinion.
Wow. Cool. Anything else that either of you have?
No.
Okay. Then let's go on to our listener feedback. So listeners, you can give us feedback. You can send us a tweet. And Christian, how can people tweet us?
At GamerHeads PC on Twitter.
They can also send us an email.
info@gamerheadspodcast.com.
They can also go to our Facebook page.
facebook.com/gamerheadspodcast.
And they can also go to our website.
gamerheadspodcast.com.
Well done. That was smooth. That was
I'll be on top of that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to switch them up, but next time I'm about to be a little creative and switch them up a little bit more. So see if you can stay on your toes. Last week, we asked the question, why can't they make a good movie based on video games? Apparently, they did with Pikachu, but I didn't know. But anyway, but here are some of your responses that you gave us. And Christian, you want to take the first one there?
Sure. This one's at Hal11K on Twitter. They said, I think the issue arises from studios wanting the films to have as broad a reach as possible, diluting the final product. Investors need to make a substantial return, so hitting a wider audience offers a degree of financial assurance instead of catering to fans at a loss.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yep. Yeah. Blue, do you want to take the next one?
Sure. This is from the Gorendorf. The film industry always goes for the gloomy and cliched approach to games instead of giving them a true personality. The constant fear of taking risks by doing either what we already know from the game or just vaguely addressing the original source could be the main issue.
Yeah. I think that's probably, I mean, because I think that's probably the hardest thing is that, you know, if you take stuff from the games, people are going to be like, people that don't know the games are going to be like, I have no idea what this is. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you don't, then you'll get people that go to see it that are hardcore fans are going to be like, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. I don't know.
The next one comes from @GamerKratos, and they tweeted, if these game movies actually stick to the source material, it would probably do much better. Also, my opinion, I think movies should be animated for the best results. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children is a example of perfection.
Perfection's a strong word, I think, for Advent Children. But it's eye candy. That's a plus.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's Final Fantasy. You can't argue with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Final Fantasy stories, I think, often have plot holes.
Yeah.
And it's okay. You just keep playing.
Yeah. Well, considering that there was the Final Fantasy 7 or 15 games ago, like, I guess that kind of has a little bit of a problem anyway. I haven't seen this movie, so I can't speak to it. But I will say, I think for me, one of my favorite, it's not a movie, but the series, the Castlevania series, I think they did a really good job with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
they tied in, video game aspects, but they also made it open enough where people that don't really know much about the video games can really enjoy it. So, and it's animated. That's good.
There you go.
Yeah, there was about 6 hours, though. There's 4 episodes in the first season and 8 in the second, and they're half-hour episodes. So you get about 6 hours of screen time.
Yeah.
But if you tried to tell that story in an hour and a half, would we have liked it as much?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's constraint time is probably the hardest part of bringing a game to the silver screen. Christian, you want to take the next one?
Sure. This one's from @JeffMan1490 on Twitter. He said, because Hollywood and directors don't care about video games and care about the money. There was an article that stated that 2 directors for the Mario movie never even played video games in their lives, which caused that abomination of a movie to be made just for money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, though, did people really play video games back then? I mean,
Of course they did.
No, I mean, adults. I mean,
Of course they did.
I don't know. It didn't feel that way growing up. It felt like all adults I knew didn't play well, except for my best friend's mom. She played video games all the time. But other than that, I feel like I felt like the generation above us of video games. What a waste of time. And now, like, our generation is like, video games, yeah. Like, don't play outside. Go play some more video games.
Oh yeah, there was a generational lag, catching up to it, but definitely adults played video games, just perhaps, not as openly, maybe. But...
Like, apparently none of the ones I knew play video games. Well, I like I said, actually my best friend's mom did play video games, and she would play Legend of Zelda on the NES. And she's actually the whole reason we got an NES, because she bought... So my friend is pretty much an only child. He has 2 older stepsisters, which they were old and grown and out of the house before he was born even. So he never, he didn't live with them. But but she went and bought him a NES or NES, I guess, as Nintendo likes us to call it. And and then she bought... Yeah, like
I'm
Nintendo
not doing that.
No, Nintendo officially came out and said we had to call it NES. They officially said that.
When?
I don't know, like last year sometime.
What?
I think we talked about this, didn't we?
It was on the podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I wasn't here yet.
I think you were actually. I think you were.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
I'm gonna find it.
Okay, you find it.
All right, but But anyway, so she would play Legend of Zelda when he was off at school, and she would say, "Oh, I made it past this dungeon," and he was like, "Mom, stop playing!" Because he would get so mad because she would tell him what to do, and he was like, "No, stop it!" Like he wanted to find out his own. Yeah, she would spoil it for him. But she convinced my mom. She's like, "You need to get those kids a Nintendo." And we went to KB Toys because of her, and my dad was super pissed off when he came home from work. Yeah. But it made my childhood much more happy. Otherwise, I'd have to go play outside.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, who wants that? Blue, do you want to do the last one?
Sure. This is from MV Gaia, something. I think the problem is the movies to be as close to the lore of the game as you can while being accessible enough to the average moviegoer. To the faithful... Okay, if you're too faithful to the game, you end up confusing those unfamiliar with the game. Warcraft. If you're too loose, you end up upsetting the fans. Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Setting yourself up for failure.
It's a fine line to walk.
Yeah. But I feel like that's probably the same for any medium, even like comic books and even books for that matter. I mean, although maybe people don't read books. And that's why it's not that big.
I think you're onto something there. But whatever, that's a whole other bunny trail.
Because I mean, I talk to people that like love the Harry Potter movies, like, and I find them okay, but man, you compare them to the books, and like you're like, oh, this is not as good. But then a lot of people that say they really, really love the movies, they tell me, oh, I never read the books, and I was like, oh, okay. Well,
okay, never mind.
Never mind. But I remember when
it's funny with specifically the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah,
because they didn't start to get good until they started to be not so slavishly devoted to the books.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I remember when The Watchmen came out, that movie, and like a lot of people like were really upset with that movie, even though like it was almost like screen by screen of like exactly like from the book, but except for the ending, I guess. But
they changed the ending.
apparently, I mean, I have to watch the movie again, but I mean, I've read the comic book. I guess somebody said, "Oh no, the ending's totally different." And I'm like, really? Because I feel like it's the same, but I guess I'll have to reread it. But
They just announced a Watchmen series for HBO, I think.
really,
Yeah, a week or so ago. They're doing a series.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah. So I suppose like any medium, but I feel like video games is a little bit different because of, well, I feel like maybe comic books might be the closest to it, where you have like, something that has like a like a long series that takes a long time to go through a video game, and then you have to try to condense that into like an hour and a half. And same with comic books. I mean, you have a lot of stuff going on in comic books, and you try to condense all that stuff into a 2-hour movie, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's okay, because there's enough of them. You make up for it.
Yeah, that's true. So thanks everybody for sending us feedback. We do love reading your feedback on the show, so thank you so much. All right, let's move on to games that we're currently playing. And Blue, we'll start with you. What games are you currently playing?
So I am continuing my work with Cook Serve Delicious 2.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's not sick of hearing about this yet.
Absolutely not. I love it every time.
Yay. I'm so happy because I'm going to keep talking about it. So I still can't get past the final day of the hamburger restaurant.
Oh, no.
I think I've gotten to the point where I think it's literally impossible. I really do. I think it's like Overcooked. You know, they say you can play on your own, but you're not going to get anywhere. But they're like, sure, you can try. Yeah. I kind of feel like that's what they've done.
Oh, no.
With the final level of this hamburger one, because I really, really, really don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
But, so I've been going along doing days in all the other restaurants that you can work in. And then I've also been spending more time in my own restaurant. And so I've gotten to the point in my own restaurant where the people's patience time when they walk in, it's 1 second.
Jeez.
Wow. It starts at 1 second.
These even human beings?
I don't know. What food establishment in the world is so fast that they can have the food to you before your order has even finished leaving your mouth?
Jeez.
So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, they open for business at 7 a.m. 6 people storm the door. They want their food right now, and in 1 second, they start turning around and leaving.
Jeez.
Wow.
And it takes about, I think you get 8 or 10 seconds. Like, the game gives you a warning when they're getting angry and starting to leave, and then I think you've got about like 8 seconds to catch them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so when you first open, it's like this flurry of activity trying to catch everybody, but then I get my side dishes up, which adds 13 seconds or something or whatever. So once I've got those prepared, then it becomes like kind of manageable. So if I can just like survive the first rush. But then twice a day during the noon hour and during from 6 to 7 and in the evening, you get rush hour. And so that's when more people come in faster and everybody's patience goes down. And it was fine, but then I was playing and then it got to rush hour and then it popped up this special screen and it was like, super rush hour, go! And it has this like crazy dramatic music and I was like, what's happening? And everybody's patience time went back down to 1 second and there was nothing I could do about it. And I was like, oh my God! I don't know where it came from.
This. I would love to see you stream this. This would be hilarious.
And so I don't know what happened. I think the game decided I was getting too comfortable because now every single rush hour is a super rush hour.
Jeez.
Wow.
So I have to manage my menu to make sure that everything is really simple to make so that I can handle it. Wow. And right now I've got escargot and cereal.
So, that's funny. Can you like pre-make things so that way when people come in, you can just be like, "Here's your bowl of cereal."
There's only certain things on the menu that you can pre-make, and then you can only make. They're called holding stations, so you can only pre-make as many things as you have holding stations for them. And I only have 4, and I need those for the side dishes. It's very important.
Crazy.
Are you gonna cave and bring you like your husband in on it with you or something, Blue? Because it sounds like you're getting to the end of your rope here with this.
He can't help me though. That's the thing. Like if I put it on the screen and I practiced, because if I was playing with a controller, I know I'd be slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but maybe if you have two people, it'll be better. No?
Better enough for Super Rush Hour?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. We should ask Phil that. How does Super Rush Hour feel at a at a restaurant?
Yeah, it sucks because you also have to be doing chores at the same time, like taking out the trash and washing the dishes and stuff.
What?
And so, like, if it's Super Rush Hour and then the dishes need to be washed and the trash needs to be taken out, and then you're like, once you get weeded, it's over. You're done. You may as well just start the day over.
But do you not hire anybody else? Does nobody else work at this restaurant?
Nope. You are a one-man show.
Wow. So
Which
you
is
mentioned
completely
cereal.
reasonable that you cook and prep and clean and take orders and serve all by yourself. That's normal.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned cereal. I just have a question for both of you because this actually came up in like a Twitter poll. Do you put your milk in the bowl first and then cereal, or cereal in the bowl first and then milk?
Cereal first.
Same.
Nobody ever actually does the other way, do they?
Oh, apparently people do.
Or they're only the ones that want to be contrarian.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to make a mess with your milk.
Yeah. That sounds insane.
It is. It's fun. It's frustrating, but it's fun.
Nice. Are you playing something else?
Yes, I also tried Devil May Cry 5.
What do you think, Blue?
Yeah, I had a free game rental from Redbox, and so that's what I got.
Nice.
I was like, you know what? It's really good. It's very, like, graphically, it's very pretty to look at and all shiny and polished. And then I really like how they do the tutorial parts at the beginning of the game so that you can play through and still learn as you're going.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, though, God, the writing is bad.
What makes you say that, Blue?
I don't know. It's just like every time a character has a line, and I don't even remember any of them specifically to say, just every time I was like, oh, really? Oh, that's so cheesy. I don't know. I would rather be playing as Dante than Nero, if I'm being honest, but that's who
I suppose you didn't get far enough then, Blue.
Well, I only had it for a night, so.
Yeah.
If
you dedicated your time to it, Blue, it's finishable in 2 days. That's how long it took me, I think.
Well,
oh, really? Okay, well.
Well, that's Christian 2 days. I mean,
Christian
probably.
2 days, so the rest of us maybe a week?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So would you consider buying it, do you think?
I don't know. I really have loved the Devil May Cries in the past. Like, I've really loved them. But I don't know. I just have so much going on right now.
Yeah.
I think if I bought it, I think it would just sit on my shelf.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Devil May Cry, Blue? Is it 3?
I like 3. I really liked the first one.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So.
I love Devil May Cry, Blue. I loved Devil May Cry 5. I mean, it's the only one I've played through beginning to end, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Really? It's the only one you played from beginning to end?
Yep.
Oh, that surprises
I loved it.
me.
I'd like to go back and try the original 3, the original trilogy, but I know everyone says 2 is atrocious, and I wouldn't want to let myself play 3 without getting through 2. And I just, I give up there.
I don't remember it being atrocious.
That's what a lot of people say.
I haven't played it in forever. Am I wrong? Is my memory wrong?
I don't know, Blue.
I played the first one, and that's as far as I got, so.
I really like the combat system a lot. It's very malleable. You can do a lot of different moves in different orders. You kind of have to create your own combos based on specific situations and the enemies that come at you. You always have to be like on your toes and ready for whatever comes next, which I liked a lot.
Yeah. Although I think, like, as you get farther along and can buy more combos, it's got to be easier to get the S rating, right? Because I don't know. I feel like at the beginning of the game, when I was playing, I was mixing it up as much as I could with the moves that I had, which weren't very many. And I was like, come on, give me the S. What does he want from me?
Yeah, that's something that I mentioned in my review, which was it's kind of nebulous as to what exactly is going into the ranking, especially early on. But yeah, you're right, Blue. As you unlock more moves, you don't have to rely on the same combos as much.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. Well, if I get an opportunity to have it, I will pick it up.
Did you get to the second playable character at all, Blue?
No.
No?
I just played as Nero.
Yeah, eventually you get to play as V, which is a really cool...
He's an odd duck.
He is, yeah. I wasn't really into his character all that much, but playing as him is really cool because they just like completely changed the gameplay and it's like changed into an execution focus. So you use his what is it, crow and panther to attack the enemies while you just like stand back, and then once the enemy gets like weakened, they go into like this final state, and then you throw your cane at them and teleport into them and do a nice satisfying finishing blow, and you just like chain those over and over and over. It feels great.
Dang, now I wish I'd played longer.
That's okay, Blue. You only had it one day.
I only had it one day.
So much.
Yeah.
So
cool. Anything else?
Yes, and then I also played Rescue Rangers 2.
Oh, yeah.
Rescue Rangers 2.
Yeah. So, Rescue Rangers, the first one for the NES, is one of my favorite games ever. And then, I didn't even know there was a sequel until, I don't know, like a few years ago. And then you don't ever see the cartridge ever.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know there was a DuckTales sequel until you mentioned it last week, Blue.
Yeah, another one that you just don't ever see. I don't know why the Afternoon Collection sequels were just not like the regular Afternoon Collection with Darkwing Duck and DuckTales and Rescue Rangers and Tailspin. Like those are like almost universally beloved.
Yeah.
And then they had the sequels for some of them, and just like you never see them, you never hear about them. It's very strange.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got the Afternoon Collection on PS4, and then I played Rescue Rangers 2, and it's very, very similar to the first one. It feels a little bit like there's not enough enemies, though. It's kind of weird. And I don't know, like the levels almost feel a little bit empty.
Wow.
But, I mean, it's still fun.
I was going to say, is it still as fun as the first one?
I wouldn't say it's as fun as the first one. I feel like the levels are a little bit more monotonous. Like you start out the game in a restaurant, and so you're climbing on tables and chairs, and there's plates and napkins and whatever. And then as you scroll through, you go from left to right, and then you get to the next section of the level. And for a while there, I thought I was going in a circle because it was all exactly the same, like nothing changed. And I was like, am I missing something? Is there a secret door? And then eventually I got to the end, but it was weird. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of those games back in that era, like, reused a lot of, like, assets and same things like, wait, I just saw this. Am I actually making progress here? What's going on?
Yeah. I was like, there's no way that this game would be so complicated, especially not on the first level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I eventually got to the end. The first boss is named Water Rabbit.
Oh.
Which is just really funny
Water
to me.
Rabbit.
Water Rabbit. And because he has a tank of water and he squirts it at you.
Yeah.
And so, of course, his name would be Water Rabbit.
Of course.
But that is what I was playing this week.
I was just looking up Water Rabbit to see if I could find anything about Water Rabbit. There is nothing about Water Rabbit in Rescue Rangers. Let me just see. Oh no, maybe. I was just seeing because, like, the cartoon. I mean, I watched the cartoon when I was a kid, but yeah, there's nothing about him actually in the cartoon. It looks like he just made an appearance in a video game. So
weird.
Shocking.
Yeah.
I can't believe
yeah.
there's not more character depth there.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
Fun. Christian, what have you been playing?
Well, I managed to plow my way through a few things this week in satisfying fashion. So I can give my, what will probably end up being final Cuphead update. I've been keeping you guys posted on it throughout the past couple weeks, and this might be the last update until the DLC comes out because I finished all the bosses on Expert, and I was sad it was over because, I loved it so much. Those bosses on Expert. Fantastic stuff. Loved it. And then I was like, well, now what do I do? And so Mike mentioned the pacifist runs on the run and gun levels, the non-boss levels, and so you can get through each of those levels without killing anything. So I did that, and then I was like, well, now what do I do? I unlocked black and white mode. My save is at 200%. What else do I do?
Oh my gosh.
And so on the pause screen, you can go to an achievement screen. So there's in-game achievements, and there's medals associated with each one. There's 28 of them. So I was like, okay, I'll just do those. So the first thing I had to do was A-rank all the bosses. I did that okay. I had to defeat one of the final bosses without getting hit. I did that fine. There was one...
Like any of this is hard.
Yeah. It was pretty tough, but I mean, it was over. Like I got all 28 achievements in like, a day, and then it's all over and Cuphead's done, and it's sad.
I'm sorry the 200% completion was too short for you, Christian.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. I can't wait for that DLC, but I hope it's somewhat substantial. What if they pulled a Hollow Knight and then said, wait guys, this is a sequel that we're working on here. That would be crazy. I'm not going to expect that out of them. That's ridiculous. But what if?
What if? Now I want
dream.
that too.
Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. But yeah, loved Cuphead. I'm sad it's over for the second time.
Well, you could just delete your save and just start over again.
Yeah, there's 3 save slots, and part of me was like, I could 200% all 3
now
slots.
Now he's going to speed run it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, jeez. Don't do that to me.
See, this is what I'm talking about, Christian. You could create a whole series around you playing Cuphead and what you can all do and like you're striving to find more stuff to do with Cuphead. I mean, like, your whole like challenging yourself. Like people would find that interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's people. I've watched speedruns of Cuphead and it's just bonkers, and I just have conceded to the fact that I will never be that good at any video game.
We could play like the Eye of the Tiger in the background and like you training to become the greatest video game player ever. Like that'd be amazing. We could totally do a series on this.
That does sound cool. Cool.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
A plus to playing all of the bosses on Expert is if you go back and play them on normal, they are way easier on normal. It's like people who play basketball with the really heavy basketball and they practice shooting with the really heavy basketball, and then they go back to the normal one. They're like, oh man, I can nail half court shots all day. That's what it feels like, and it feels good. It feels good to stick it to those Cuphead bosses after suffering through them on Expert.
Wow,
I recommend it.
See, I think so. I actually had a conversation with is it Ryan, right, from Retro Game Bruise? Is that
right?
Yeah. And he asked, so he's running a new tournament coming up with the Sonic 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and asked if I could be part of that, and I said I unfortunately, just with the amount of work at work and just everything else, it just didn't fit in my schedule. And he said, well, I mean, should I keep you in posted for the rest of them? I said, yeah, absolutely. I said, everybody you need the lovable jobber in every tournament. And for those of you that don't know wrestling terms, jobbers are just people that lose on purpose, like not on purpose.
Okay.
Like,
I was actually just gonna be like, what?
Yeah. A jobber is like somebody that they're not gonna win a match, and if they do win a match, like it's amazing, and you're like, wow, like jabber wins, but like they make other people look good. That's their whole point. And I said, and he's like, well, what games are you good at that we can maybe include in the tournament? I'm like, none. But
he wants you to participate, Roger.
I know, and I want to participate, and I do, and I enjoy it. And I told him, I said, I still have fun with it. I just, I'm not a competitive person, and to me, when I hear you talking about like, you have to go to the like extreme hard levels to like, push yourself or whatever. I'm like, I would never do that. Like, I don't find that fun at all. I don't. But that's just me, I guess.
Why did you buy Bloodborne?
I don't know. Because people told me it was going to be a good game. Christian told me it was a good game. He told me it was a good game.
It is a good game, but it's contrary to everything you just said.
I know. But look how far I made it without any weapons.
Which was what, 2 minutes?
Well, yeah. But I made it pretty far. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Speaking of games you might like, Roger.
Yes.
Early last week, A Plague Tale: Innocence came out of nowhere.
Tell me about this game.
So I have been hearing everybody rave about this game, and I have never heard of it before this week. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what it is. Tell me.
Either.
Yeah, I didn't either until, a couple weeks ago when the code came my way and I started playing it. And I was like, whoa, what the heck is this thing? And apparently they announced it like 2 years ago or something like that. It's weird, but okay, the people who made it is Asobo Studios, and they're known for like making the Ratatouille video game on the GameCube and like porting over WALL-E onto PS2, the WALL-E game. And like helping work on Recore and like porting over Zoo Tycoon on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Like,
what the heck?
Recore is cool, but okay.
Yeah, but they only co-developed it. They weren't like spearheading the operation.
Yeah.
So it was like, what the heck? There's this standalone game out of this studio that's been porting over Disney licensed games forever now. So I ended up being very pleasantly surprised by what A Plague Tale: Innocence ended up being, and it's easily the most surprising game for me thus far in 2019, because I did not expect that out of a studio like this, let alone a game like this to come out at all. So it's kind of like a AA tier type game, which we don't get very often anymore. Hellblade is probably the only other like example of something like this existing, where they take a game, make it in a modular engine, so they kind of so that they don't have to spend all this time developing an engine and figuring all that stuff out. So they use a pre-existing engine to make a 3D game that looks like AAA. It's 3D, it's high definition, you got all those check boxes ticked off, but it's not like the ridiculous like minutia that you'll find in like a $60 exclusive anywhere else. So it's $50. And it's a single-player, narrative-driven adventure game. That's probably the best way to describe it. There's a lot going on in this game. So it's like if you took The Last of Us and then you put it in the Great Plague in France in like the, 1400s?
I believe 1400s.
Yeah, if you did that. And then you took out most of the shooting, and you took out most of the like platforming and shimmying along walls, you would have A Plague Tale: Innocence. So you play as a girl named Amicia, and she's got a little brother named Hugo, and they're just living their happy medieval lives when the Inquisition comes through their town, and they want her little brother Hugo, and it's not clear why. But you have to take Hugo, and you have to get the heck out of Dodge. You need to get out of there, and you need to figure out why Hugo's sick, because he's sick also. And so what ensues is like a series of stealth sections, some light puzzle mechanics, and just kind of like world traversal, basically. A to B, you go from, one point to the next, reach your destination, and that's it. You distract some guards along the way. Do you have any questions as far as that's concerned?
It sounds interesting. I mean, like, it sounds like an interesting game so far.
Yeah, I mean, how brutal are the stealth parts?
Are the stuff parts?
Yeah.
Stealth parts.
Stealth parts, okay. So, the game is quite easy. Like, this game, it has no difficulties.
Sounds right up my alley, actually.
So, yeah, it's quite easy. So, usually what you'll do is there'll be this guard, right? And if you get spotted by the guard, he'll run at you and stab you immediately. So, insta-fail stealth sections galore. But
That doesn't sound fun. That doesn't sound fun at all.
No,
I didn't like
but
the stealth
it's
sections in Spider-Man, so this doesn't sound. Is this going to be problematic?
this is way easier than Spider-Man stealth
Okay.
sections.
Okay.
Because what you do is you're crouching, right? And then you go up to this conveniently placed wooden barrier and you see a guard in front. And you're like, okay, I can't go through here. What should I do? And then you look and there's a rock right next to you. So you pick up rock, you throw it at some helmets, and the guard goes, what? What was that? And then he turns around and he walks over to the sound. And then you are free to pass.
Oh.
That is like 90% of the stealth sections is you need to get past a guard that you clearly can't get past. You look around, the item you need is right there. You pick it up, you throw it, or you pick stuff up, you craft what you need, you use it, and then you move on. So that ease, isn't very mentally stimulating, but it gets you moving through the game at a satisfying pace. You're not going to get stuck on any of like the encounters for like 5 hours being like, what the heck, I can't fight this enemy right now. I can't figure out how to get around these people. So you get to just sit back and experience what the game lays before you.
So it's more about the story than the gameplay itself.
So there are specific sections in the game that I really liked a lot. So when they kind of take the reins off of you in some stealth sections, I loved that. So like I was saying, 90% of the stealth sections are just find the items that they place right where you need them and then use them. There's a couple of stealth sections where there's just like guards everywhere, and it's like, okay, here's where you need to go, figure it out. And you unlock different craftable items, so you can do things like extinguish torches that the guards have so that rats come and eat them, or you can attract rats to people so that the rats come and eat them, or you can like melt their helmets off with a certain item so that you can hit them in the head with your sling and kill them, or you can what else is there? You got this sleeping potion that you can sneak up and slam in their face so they fall asleep right away. And so you got all these options and toys to use for like 2 or 3 stealth sections that are fantastic when they happen, but they aren't there very often.
How old is your character you're playing?
She is, I think, like 15. So she's like
Okay.
an adolescent young woman.
I see. I feel like
You
like
grew up
15-year-olds
fast in
now.
the
Yeah.
Middle Ages, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I guess. I was gonna say it. Like I feel like. Well, I mean, we just learned that a 14-year-old was playing, Fortnite and making $200,000. I feel like times have changed a lot. So.
Yeah, that's something about this game that was like what I loved about it so much was the development of the characters and the crap you have to like wade through in order to get through this whole game, because it makes you feel like disgusting, dirty, nasty. And credit where it's due, like if you see any like Great Plague video game, usually you can expect like the Plague Doctor masks with the big beaks, and everything's going to be black and glistening, and there's going to be a couple of torches and everything's going to be black, piles of dead bodies, whatever. This game was able to, sidestep all those cliches and be able to provide a series of interesting set pieces that have different color palettes that remain beautiful and kind of grotesquely, like, gasp-inducingly, brutal to witness. And then you just, like, it's always, there's a good variety. They keep on throwing different things at you while you're going through. And I loved it because of that. There's some crap that you got to go through in order to get, Amicia and Hugo through this situation. And they did great things with the setting. I can't emphasize that enough. And that's why I enjoyed it so much. And this game is largely good for a wide variety of people because it's not very difficult and you can get through it and enjoy the set pieces and story that sits along the way.
Is there replay available? What's the replay availability with this game?
Yeah,
Value.
so I just
value,
played it
thank you.
through
Think of the
a
word.
second time today. I just finished my second playthrough to go through, get collectibles, and then just experience it again because there were some moments that I really liked a lot. And I got the Platinum Trophy for Platinum number 102.
Whoa.
But the replay value, so when you're going through the game, you have upgrades that you can get. So as you get materials, there's workbenches that you hit up. And this game is like pretty sizable. I mean, it's like 12 hours long, which is pretty sizable for your typical single player experience these days. And that's like the single player is all there is to do, but it's pretty long, it's pretty meaty, and it incentivizes exploration a lot with these craftable upgrades. So you can upgrade almost everything from like your sling, you can make it faster, you can make it make less noise, you can make yourself make less noise, you can make the things you craft better, more effective, or you can even upgrade the act of upgrading so that you don't need as much stuff to upgrade. And that gives...
I love that. You can upgrade the upgrading.
Exactly. They let you do that. And so you feel like you're walking around these environments and you're always finding like craftable materials, and it always feels like you're making meaningful progress towards that next upgrade while you're playing through. And so on my second playthrough, you can chapter select, so you can select which chapter you start at. There's a couple collectibles in there too, strewn about. Those are pretty, standard par for the course. You find like a doll somewhere, and then you can go in the pause menu and look at the doll if you want. But those craftable upgrades really kind of thrusted me through that second playthrough because I wanted to get them all.
Oh, cool. I mean, it sounds actually, it does sound like a game right up my alley. So is that it's on PlayStation, right?
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Okay. And you reviewed this game, right?
I did on NewGameNetwork.com.
And what was your final grade on it?
I gave it a 76. I was very pleasantly surprised.
76?
Yeah, Roger.
That's
is
not
7 a
good
bad review score?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, really liked it. The gameplay, like I said, is not going the thing that's going to keep you engaged, despite those little nuggets of good sections. And there's some budget feel to the thing, because like I said, it's $50 right now. It's probably going to go on sale at some point, which would make it, a lot easier to recommend. But there's just like some lack of polish around the edges. Some of the animation work isn't, like I said, up to par with your typical $60 Sony exclusive where you get like ridiculous animations in a God of War or something. But really enjoyed the story and set pieces it had along the way.
Nice. What else have you been playing, Christian?
Well, I finished Valhalla, Cyberpunk Bartender Action.
Yeah.
Yep. And I ended up lukewarm where I started, was lukewarm. I thought it was, pretty good. Not too bad. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it like a lot of people did. I was kind of, like I said the last time when I was playing it, I was expecting there to be, nuggets or like inciting incidents where it was like, okay, now this game has a thrust. It's going somewhere. I see where it's going, and I want to see and I want to see this through to the end. But it's like the whole game is just slice of lifey to an extreme almost, because it's like, this is her life. She's talking to this person now. This person's life, they're depositing that information into you. Here's the next person's life that they're depositing into you. And then there's recurring characters. So you get to develop a relationship with them as the protagonist does. But like, for some reason, a bartender didn't gel well in that context for me. Like, I feel like a bartender would just sit back and kind of passively listen to the conversations that are taking place instead of actively participating in them. And so that required some suspension of disbelief for me, and that kind of led me to be disappointed in kind of what I thought the thing was going to be. I thought, like, you were going to hear, these two crazy dudes talking, across the bar, talking about their crazy cyberpunk plans, like, hey, we're going to go rob the bank, but we're going to hack into it first so that we create a diversion, and then this is going to happen. And then you get to witness all of that secondhand. Like, that's an idea that I thought was going to make the game was going to make manifest. And those were just, undue expectations on my part. I shouldn't have applied those going into it. But, I mean, even still, the dialogue's great. It's well written. The characters are all pretty interesting. There's a couple of duds here or there, but for the most part, they're fun to listen to. But as far as visual novels are concerned, it's not my favorite. I've played through, 2 other visual novel games. I've played through Danganronpa, which is fantastic. Love Danganronpa. Have either of you played Danganronpa at all?
Oh, yeah.
You have, Blue?
Monokuma is like, he's my boy.
Yeah?
He's so funny.
He is. Monokuma is like the crazy evil teddy bear who's got like a half a good side, half an evil side. really, I've only played through the first Danganronpa, but I really liked it because the whole game's a murder mystery, and it takes a little while to get to the murder mystery part, but you have to like actively pay attention every like conversation, every character interaction, every like observing sequence, because it's the onus is on you, the player, to figure out who it is that performed the murder. And so you have to piece together evidence, talk to people, and try and, coax information out of them, scrutinize their sentence structure to figure out, if they might slip up, if there's inconsistent information. Like, there's a lot that you have to do as a player while you're going through that game. And the other one I've played is Dream Daddy. Very different, but I really like Dream Daddy. And I feel like it's kind of like a pinnacle of why dating games are intrinsically appealing to a player, because there's a lot of research on this topic. I had to write a paper about it at one point in time. But dating games are very useful at developing communication skills, because you're given dialogue options, and you, as a player, have to figure out which dialogue option is going to elicit the response that you want from the character that you're interacting with. And so every conversation, you have to be like constantly looking at the dialogue options, trying to figure out, okay, this is worded in a way that I don't think this character is going to like, or I don't want this character to think I want to get romantically involved with them, so I'm going to use this sentence instead of this one. And that, like, I feel like that provides a more compelling argument as a video game, as opposed to Cyberpunk Bartender Action, which didn't have a lot of action, but had a lot of bartending where you mix the drinks to give to people, and they don't always give you an option to give them a drink that will, diverge the story paths in a meaningful way.
Interesting. No, I mean. Yeah, I see your point, and so I'm playing that game as well, and it is weird because as a bartender you only have one customer at a time. It must be a really, really like slow bar or something like that, because well, there's a couple times where you do have two customers.
It's not the cook serve delicious bar.
No, it's not. No,
it's not.
It's not that at all. I guess there are a couple times where you have two customers at a time, and then you can make a mistake and it just says, oh, you made a mistake. You just have to make the drink over again. It's not like you're timed or anything with how quickly you can make the drink. So you can take your time with it. And it does say in the beginning of the game, like, sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink, enjoy the story. Like, I think it's supposed to be a chill game. But do you have anything else? Otherwise, I'll go into my.
I did have one other thing that I played through. Okay. I just finished playing through SteamWorld Dig, beginning to end.
Oh yeah.
It was on sale on Switch a few days back, or like a week ago. There's the SteamWorld sale, and the SteamWorld games have always been like fascinating to me in like the concept of them, where it's a franchise where all of these different gameplay genres take place in the same cohesive universe. I love that idea. And so I've always wanted to get into it. And after Roger saying great things about SteamWorld Quest, I was like, well, I might as well start now. So I picked up SteamWorld Dig and I just finished it. And it's good.
The first one?
Yeah, the first SteamWorld Dig. Yep.
Yeah.
Starting at the beginning before I get into SteamWorld Heist, which I've heard fantastic things about. I'm excited to finally get into that one eventually. But SteamWorld Dig, it's good. It's good. My understanding is that the second one is much better, a lot more fleshed out, and good, meaningful ways that make it more compelling as an experience. But I mean, it's pretty standard. It's pretty par for the course in terms of digging games. There was a day, way back when, early middle school days or late elementary school days, where I would just sit there huddled over a laptop playing digging games on the computer just to get that hit of dopamine by getting all these upgrades and digging further and further down. It's just a very satisfying gameplay loop that really appealed to me growing up. And SteamWorld Dig doesn't, do anything meaningfully different from those browser games of yore. It just kind of excels in the polish department, and that's largely it. It only takes 5 hours to get through, as opposed to a browser game's 2 hours. But I mean, it's good. And one of the last abilities you get is one that I am in love with, because I am all about good movement in video games. And the last ability they give you is a movement-based one, and it just completely recontextualizes every environment that you've seen up until this point, and it makes you feel like a god jumping through these mines. I loved it. And that's also why I liked Hollow Knight so much. You get movement-based abilities that recontextualize every prior environment that you've been into. Fantastic. SteamWorld Dig had something similar, but it was right at the end. So, I mean, probably would recommend SteamWorld Dig 2 from what I've heard, but I'm glad it's behind me. I'm excited to move on to SteamWorld Heist.
Yeah, you didn't start with SteamWorld Tower Defense, though, did you?
I did not. No,
Oh.
Tower Defense is not up my alley.
Oh, okay. That's the very first one, I think.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, man. Well, I
Night
missed out,
start
Roger.
over.
You
Hit
got
start
me.
over. Yep. No, I enjoyed the characters in SteamWorld Dig. Yeah, I'm interested to find out what you think of SteamWorld Heist. So when you start playing that, so
Yeah. That's it for me, Roger. You can talk about Valhalla now.
okay. So yeah, games I've been playing. So Valhalla, the cyberpunk bartender action game. So I'm not. I mean, I haven't beaten it yet, like you have, but I have made it to the sex robots.
Okay. Do you know what day that is? Is that like day 5, day 6?
I think
somewhere around there.
Day four
Day
or
4?
5, something like that.
Gotcha.
And that was a little disturbing.
Okay.
Like, considering that they it was really disturbing.
I thought you
Considering-
liked it because it was dark and gritty and
Well,
real.
that was before I got to the underage robots, the sex robots. Then I was like, well, that's weird. So that was kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know. It was just weird. It was like, I don't know. Like, the future's messed up. If that's the future, like, we're like in really big trouble, I think.
Has it ruined the game for you?
I don't know.
You were enjoying it so far.
I was. I mean, I thought it was interesting. Like, I thought it was like an interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just kind of like, ugh. That was a little sleazy. I thought that character, but I mean, I don't know. It was weird. It was just a weird. I was just like, oh, that was weird. Like, not. Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what to say.
I'm going to have to cut you off from using the word weird now.
I know.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
know.
said it like 20 times in the past.
You
I
met
know.
your quota.
I know. I did. Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna still play through it. And I'm reviewing it. So it's just that was interesting and
There you go.
interesting in a strange way.
That character keeps popping up, Roger.
Yeah, a lot of them do. Like, the newspaper guy pops up again, and like,
Yeah. Which is weird because, I mean, like, once you get to the last quarter of the game, you don't meet any new people. And then it's like,
Oh.
okay, is this really a bar? Or is
Yeah.
this just like a hangout spot now?
yeah, and I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'll be interested. I guess I'll have to play through it and get my final thoughts. But I was just kind of like, oh well, that was kind of strange.
That's funny.
It's that one moment, and it has ruined the game for Roger.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, kind of.
He's done
mean-
with it now.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not gonna play anymore. No, I'll finish it.
But
I don't know.
emotionally,
I'm just trying-
you're done with
Yeah.
it.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out like what they're trying to say at this point. I don't know. I don't know what the meaning is. I don't know what the purpose of this is. So I'm trying to figure that out, I guess. Maybe it'll become more apparent to me. I guess once I finish it, Christian, we can talk a little bit more in depth of like what the meaning is, because I'm kind of lost. But like, okay,
It's a
but
slice of life game, Roger. There is no meaning. Every life is meaningless. That's the meaning.
What? Okay. So yeah, I'm playing more of that. And I did pick up Castlevania collection.
Nice.
So I started playing Castlevania 4 because it's my favorite Castlevania. Even though I have it on the Super Nintendo Classic. But it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun game. And this one's cool because you can create save states, and that's awesome.
Oh, there you go.
So maybe Castlevania, the first one, will be more manageable to me now. Like, everybody really hates Castlevania 2, and I don't know, I must be weird because I kind of liked that game. Actually, that was my first Castlevania game I beat, was Castlevania 2.
What? How did you do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I really
know to like kneel in the corner and play the flute and get the tornado to come.
I don't know. I don't know. But I beat it, and then I used to read like the choose. Oh, you know how I did? Because I read this Choose Your Own Adventure book. It was like a Castlevania one, and it told you tips of what to do in the game.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I really liked that game a lot, and then Castlevania 4 was the second one that I beat. I mean, I think my friend and I beat Castlevania 3, but he was more of the person that did that than me. I didn't own that game when I was a kid. But yeah, I'm playing through Castlevania 4. I just made it through the first boss right now, but I'll have to play some more. And
there's a ROM hack of Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest that makes the game actually look interesting to me, because like basically he just like fixed all the like the main issues that everyone brought up. So like the day-night transitions, the text happens way faster, and then like people that you talk to actually give you hints as to what all these cryptic things that you're supposed to do are.
Yeah.
So like that fan mod or fan ROM hack looks like, I mean, in my opinion, would be the definitive way to play that game as someone who hasn't played it before.
I know, I'll have to play it again and see if I remember any of the game. I might not. I mean, it was a long time ago since I played that, so, and I don't have that book anymore, unfortunately.
Oh no.
So, yeah. It was one of those Scholastic book sales at school. And I bought it. Yeah.
Nice.
It's like, I gotta get this game. I gotta get this book, Mom. I gotta buy it. And then I've been playing through. All right, not through. I played some more Tetris 99 because of that tournament's going on this weekend. Or not tournament, but the event is going on.
Get that theme?
Yeah, and I know Mike got it, so congratulations to him. You only need 100 points. I should say only. You need 100 points, and then you earn points by, obviously playing through the game and getting higher ranking. And I think I'm at 20 points. And I was super frustrated yesterday because I was doing really well, and then I got ganged up on. Like 5 different people attacked me. I'm like, this sucks. Screw you all. And then I quit. I was super mad.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've been playing that, and then there's another game that I'm going to talk about next week because I finally can, but I can't talk about it yet. So once I can, then I'll give my review of it too, and we can talk through it, and then I'll stream the game too. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. I played a little bit more Shakedown Hawaii as well, so that's a fun game. I mean, I know like the parts that I'm at right now. I mean, I've seen Mike stream it, so I know what's going on, which is kind of helpful because I was like, oh, I'll just do this. But yeah, it's a fun game. That's a fun game, and there's a new patch that's coming out for that game coming out. I think either it came out or it's coming out, but it's going to add some minor fixes to some things, and then add some more content too. So that's kind of cool.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So, with that, that's what I've been playing. With that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll go into my interview with Erin Kim from NIS America, and go into some of the games that are coming up, and she talks about that, so that's really cool. And then after that, we'll get into our hot topic, and our hot topic this week is the Microsoft and Sony collaborating on the game streaming technology together, and what does that mean for us as gamers? So we'll talk more about that when we come back, so stay tuned. And welcome back to GamerHeads. My guest tonight is Erin Kim from NIS America. She is the North America Media Relations Specialist. Did I get that right?
Yes, that's fine. Sounds good to me.
Erin, thank you so much for joining us. I know this is a Friday afternoon. You probably want to go home. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
No, actually, I want to say thank you for having me here and inviting me to join. It's actually my first time being on a podcast, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm definitely looking forward to what we're gonna discuss in just a bit.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
And no reason to be nervous. Like, this is I try to make this as painless as possible. So
yeah, of course.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Erin, and a little bit of your background and how you got on the team of NIS America.
Sure. I guess my story is not the most interesting. I've been part of NIS America for less than a year, actually. I've joined back this past August, initially as part of our online store team. And that was a part-time position, but I was very fortunate to have been offered the chance to join our marketing department, which I took, and I, got in, which is really amazing. And that was back in October, so it's been, how do I say, October? It's been a few months, not wanting to do the math right now. So it's been, a very awesome few months being part of like PR/marketing with NIS America, and I just, really couldn't have asked for anything better so far.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, like, I will say this, I contact a lot of people, and I throughout the industry, and I will say, like, you are the nicest and easiest to work with. So.
Oh, that's really kind of you to say. I really appreciate it, and likewise, I've really enjoyed every interaction so far with GamerHeads. So, I want to return the gratitude as well.
Thank you. So tell us about your gaming background. How did you get into gaming?
Feel like the same with most. It kind of started young, from childhood. I guess the first real memory of me playing a video game was I started with the Game Boy Color and Pokemon Yellow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I remember seeing it, I think, when we were shopping inside Costco, and I recall it being as part of some kind of bundle pack that you can get.
Nice.
So, I had to beg, can I have this, please? And my wish was granted, and that's how, I guess, my interest and hobby for gaming started.
Nice.
And, of course, that really kickstarted my passion for the Pokemon franchise, which I still really enjoy to this day, but unfortunately, I have yet to catch the new Detective Pikachu movie, so that's definitely on my to-do list.
Yeah, I saw it with the kids.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, you watched it, yeah.
I have seen it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
It's all right?
Well,
yeah.
See, here's the thing. Like, my background, I'm not, probably as big of a Pokemon fan as others, especially my kids. So, for me, I'm just I was valuing it on the acting and...
Right. It's actually funny because this is kind of like an offhand thing, but I majored in film and media, so
nice.
I'm really curious to see, now that you mentioned the acting, they're like CGI Pokemon, right? But
yeah,
I'm really curious how that plays out.
Yeah, you have to let me know what you think after you see
definitely.
It, so.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite game then?
My favorite game. Not trying to dodge this one here, but I think it's just very hard for me to answer, to pick a single one. But I definitely do have a soft spot towards, like we've talked before, Pokemon. I just really enjoy genres of more of an action adventure, RPGs. And I really did enjoy Persona 5 back when it came out a few years ago. And not to toot our own horn or anything, but I really like Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana as well.
Nice.
I don't know. It's just really got to me because there's this one part where you talk with a parrot, but it was so deep, and I never thought I'd have such feels, talking to a bird like that. It's getting into spoiler territory, so I wouldn't go any further, but
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So as a North American media relations specialist, so a little bit about your job then. What are some things you really enjoy about your current role?
Yeah, even though the job title says North America, I actually do, speak with many unique individuals from around the world. So I just think that's really neat, and, getting to know them better. And as part of the marketing team, I produce promotional materials such as our press releases and our notices that we send out to media.
Nice.
For our games. So that does require a strong understanding of all the titles.
Yeah.
And I just, really appreciate being able to get so involved with each and every one of them. Because for other departments, let's say you're assigned, to a project, so to a certain title, but within marketing, it's kind of logical, but we do work with every single title. So I just think that's really cool. And I guess, attending gaming events and conventions is definitely a plus. The travel.
Yeah. Are you going to be at E3?
Oh, yes. Actually, we did put out a notice earlier this week, I want to say, or was it last week, that we will be at E3. So,
nice.
Catch us there.
Nice. And then are you going to be at the booth too, or?
Actually, I'll be meeting up with press, but I think, I may pop up at the booth if you have some time.
Nice. Awesome. What are some challenges then as a media relations specialist?
Oof. They're definitely associated with what I've mentioned a bit earlier. It's keeping track of multiple titles at once can definitely and understandably become a little bit hectic, along with like balancing external correspondence with others and just making sure that we're on track, we're hitting the major beats that we've laid out earlier. I would say that's kind of the most key challenge. Yeah,
I suppose. I mean, because I'm assuming that you probably work with a lot of different outlets that, review the games and such. So, like, I can't imagine, like, how busy your day must be.
It's not too bad. There are just, how would I say, periods, I think we've kind of garnered a reputation for ourselves for having, a pretty hefty lineup every year. So there are definitely months or weeks even where we're, loaded with stuff. But, keep on going on, got the grind going. So you're always active and engaged. So that's what I'm thankful for, at least.
Yeah. There's no downtime, really.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of the background then for NIS America and the success behind NIS America. So NIS America was founded in 2003,
right?
If I have my history right, in order to focus on publishing and localizing games for North America. Why do you think NIS America has been so successful in bringing games to America?
I would say our mission statement or aim, so to say, is to bring Japanese culture to not really only just North America, but to Western audiences in general, since we do work with Europe and Australia and New Zealand as well. So we bring that through the games, of course, and we bring them to these Western audiences who, they're actually a huge part, I would say, in creating this success. And we really owe it to them for showing us such great love and support for what we do. And we take that reception and see what more we can bring to the table. How can we keep that like passion and excitement ablaze, so to say. Yeah. And of course, it's also thanks to our fantastic licensing partners who allow us this opportunity to showcase their games to the West. And we've actually had a fan survey go out, I believe. Yeah, it was around in December this past year. And we've got such great feedback. And we're really listening to, what the people want.
Nice.
And we're happy to say that, something's coming up in the future. So keep an eye peeled out for that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to mention how I think that one thing that I was always been so impressed how like engaged you are with the audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that survey that you sent out too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. I mean that's one way I think of keeping a pulse on like what people like, but then also like making sure that you stay engaged with with your audience too.
Oh yeah, definitely. And speaking of staying engaged, just want to say that we did create a Discord server.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just, if the listeners want to join in, it's discord.gg/NISA, I believe, if that's correct. I really hope so. And yeah, the people there are really chill. Lots of fun shenanigans going on, actually. It doesn't feel so, sterile, so to say.
Yeah.
There's not, that, barrier of, consumer and company. It's just really, we're all there to have a good time, to discuss the games, and lots of memes going on in there as well. So it's just super fun. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, I joined as well. So
yeah.
And I think one thing that I enjoyed about it, the fact that you have different, a lack of a better word, chat rooms or chat strings.
Right,
I guess,
I think
games.
channels.
Channels. That's
there we go.
I don't know what they're called.
No
channels.
worries.
Channels that for different for the different games, and that's awesome. I just and you can see the engagement and people talking about the different games and stuff like that. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk. Speaking of games, then let's talk about Lapis X Labyrinth.
Ooh, for sure.
One of the games that's coming up. It's coming up later this month.
Definitely is.
What can you tell us about the game?
Well, so Lapis Labyrinth, it's how would I say, a side-scrolling action RPG platformer, and it comes way of our parent company, Nipponichi Software. So it's very dynamic, vibrant, cute. You can play as 8 different character classes. There's a hunter, necromancer, gunner, just a few to name off the top of my head. There's even a really cute maid, which is the office favorite, actually. Yeah, and one of the main takeaways from this game, actually, is the stacking of your party. So you can have up to 4 characters whose heads are stacked on top of each other like dango.
Yeah.
And for those who aren't familiar with what dango is, it's a Japanese snack that has basically mochi balls on a skewer. So the formation, really resembles dango closely. So we affectionately refer it to as the dango formation. Yeah, it's actually kind of making me hungry talking about dango. Yeah, we brought it in earlier this week for our stream to showcase Lapis Labyrinth. So I just had a little throwback there.
Yeah, I saw that. Actually, I saw that on the stream.
Yeah,
That's funny.
It was really good. Yeah, but as for the story, it follows a small town that sits next to a labyrinth. And it was once really teeming with adventurers, but over time, the numbers just dwindled down, and eventually the town is just kind of fading away. It's a ghost town. It's just a remnant of what it once used to be. And so now you're there to help it get back onto its feet. You dive down into the labyrinth, return with tons of treasure. And the designers had in mind when creating this game that they really wanted to evoke the feeling of you hitting the jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you may see in our trailers, once you, get down into the depths, once you whack enemies and there's just gems flying everywhere. It's really crazy, but super fun, and it just feels so rewarding.
Yeah, I was going to say, what I've seen on the stream and in the trailer, it looks I think you hit it right in the head, jackpot. It reminds me very much like an arcade style game.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, it's cool. And when does this game come out?
Yeah, so for North America, it'll be coming out on May 28th.
Okay.
Europe, it is May 31st, and then Australia and New Zealand will get it on June 7th.
And it comes out on the PS4, Nintendo Switch.
Yes, it'll be coming out on those 2 platforms.
Okay. And you have a pre-order specials going on right now, correct?
We do, actually. So we have a pre-order special for the PS4. If you pre-order it digitally on the PlayStation Store, you'll get a free static theme and a cute 8-character avatar bundle along with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then on your store, do you have something special too?
Yes. So our online store is well known for, producing really amazing quality limited editions, and Lapis Labyrinth is no exception to that. But actually, I think the PS4 version is actually sold out right now.
Oh no!
Sadly, yeah, sad to say, but we still have some Switch, but I think that's also at, let's say, 5% or so stock left.
Wow.
So I really recommend, getting right on it if you're eyeing it already.
Yeah,
And kind of funny story behind the name for this limited edition. So the official name is Lapis Labyrinth Limited Edition XL.
Okay.
But the X's in that title, it's silent. But then if you want to go for the short form, it's LXL, XLE, XL. So definitely a tongue twister there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept getting it confused with our PS4 version of the LE, which is just LXL, XLE. So I'm like, which one was which again? When we're, writing up the press blast and all that. But yeah.
Nice. And one thing that I saw, I didn't see it in your store. I think I saw this like this was one of your posts. You had like a cutout where you had the 4 different heads, and then you could put your head on the top.
That's right, we did. That was a really cute idea. I think, really got to hand it to the design team for creating with such a cute concept. And we debuted that cardboard cutout at PAX South earlier in January.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a pretty good hit.
Is that for sale?
Sadly, no, I wish. Yeah.
Because that was so cool. I was like, oh, that looks really awesome.
Right? Like, I would just, bring the cardboard cutout to my desk and have it stay there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just greet guests with that.
Hello.
Welcome to NIS America.
So other than Lapis X Labyrinth, what other games can we look forward to from NIS America?
Ooh, there's definitely a lot coming out this fall. Perhaps our most anticipated one is The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 3. I'm personally super stoked for that one.
Nice.
And then we'll also have the Alliance Alive HD Remastered, Destiny Connect TikTok Travelers, and Utawareru Mono Zan. So these 4 are coming out this fall, while we have RPG Maker MV releasing later this year. And then there is Utawareru Mono, Prelude to the Fallen, greeting us early next year in 2020.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of games.
And, that's not the least of it. We've got way more in store.
Oh, wow.
But, you'll have to stay tuned to hear those.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, how can people stay in touch with you? How can people follow NIS America on social media?
So first I'll just mention our main website. It's simply www.nisamerica.com, and actually each game itself has its own individual website. And I really just want to give a quick shout out to our web team for the beautiful sites that they create. So I really, hope for people to go check out their hard work.
Nice.
And when it comes to social media, we have our Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. I think the username is just simply NIS America. And I think Facebook is the only one that's like NIS America, Inc.
Nice.
But either way, a quick, Google search would get you there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you have your Discord channel, like you said.
Oh, right. As I mentioned earlier, we have our Discord too. So everyone is welcome to join. Come chat with us, with the staff. We'd love to have you there. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks, Erin, so much for joining us today. I really appreciate the fact that you took time out of your busy schedule. And,
no worries at all. Yeah, of course. And I'm really glad to have been here, and love to be back one day.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to have you back on the show, talk about future games. So, all right, thanks again for joining us.
All right, thank you.
Now let's go into our push select review section. We have a review with Phil the Chef Hoff. Do you mind being called Phil the Chef Hoff?
No, it doesn't bother me at all, Roger.
Obviously, your name is Phil Hoff, but do you mind the chef part?
I probably get called Chef as much as I get called Phil, in all honesty.
So part of our push select review section, Phil, you reviewed the game Brief Battles.
I did review Brief Battles, brought to us from our friends at Juicy Cupcake.
Yeah, and this was on the PlayStation 4, but it's also on Xbox One and Nintendo Switch and PC, is that?
Yeah, it's on everything.
Wow, cool. So tell us about brief battles. What is brief battles? It's not a brief battle, right? It's not just a short...
I mean, the battles are brief. But,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
there's a whole lot of play on words that go on in this game, which is one of the high notes. There's because the battles are brief, and you're battling to get super-powered underwear that
Ooh.
give you abilities to harm each other in your battles or destroy targets or whatever it is that you may be doing. Think of it kind of like Super Smash Brothers. It's that style of a brawler where you kind of got your arena with different platforms, and some of the platforms will fall and that kind of a thing where you're battling each other. You're these egg-shaped little creatures, and you've got a bunch of skins that you can unlock as you're going through and completing different challenges and missions of winning so many battles and that kind of stuff that kind of give them some personality. Off the top of my head, I want to say there were 6 different characters in the game. There's 50 different stages as well, so I mean,
Wow.
they put some effort into it. I think there's 5 or 6 different backgrounds, but then like 10 different formations in each of the different stages. I hope that makes sense.
And do they feel different? I mean, do all of them feel different, or do they feel kind of the same?
There's different aspects to them. There's some of them have got like hazards on the ground that if you fall onto, it'll do damage to you. Some of them got portals, so if you want to kind of get like an advantage, you can jump into one side, you'll come out the other side and be able to attack that way, or even escape that way as well. And you can even shoot some of your superpowers through the portals, and you can attack things long distance that way too.
Okay, and you go through and you're collecting underpants. Then is that right?
Well, the underpants are what give you your powers.
Okay.
There's like the flaming hot underwear lets you
Ooh.
shoot fireballs. There's the icy cold ones that shoot little ice balls. There's the toxic underwear that you shoot these toxic blobs that'll then stick and then explode after a couple of seconds, doing damage or killing things. One of them, I don't remember what it's called, but it kind of turns you into like an iron ball, and so like you'll jump and hit your special move button, it'll turn into an iron ball and just maul your way through things.
The iron underpants.
That's why I didn't go there. I couldn't think of anything anywhere to be acceptable to say.
And so there's at least 50 different levels. So is there? We kind of talked about this off air, but is there a? So this is really geared towards multiplayer, right? There's not really a whole lot of single player, or is there some single player?
There's a lot of single player content.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it gets very repetitive pretty quickly. There's, I want to say it's 4 different modes, including Underpants Collector, which is where like you'll start out in a point, and your job is to collect as many pairs of underpants as you can before time expires. Like with another line shooting up after every like 5 pairs that you collect, it'll show you where like the next set is to go and collect. And then there's another mode called Tidy Whitey Targets, where you're shooting little signs on the ground, and you have to destroy so many signs before time expires. And of course, you get bronze, silver, gold as it goes. And mind you, each of these different modes has 50 to 60 different levels for both the Underpants Collector and Tidy Whitey Targets.
Oh.
But then there's also bottom-up battles where you fight against computer-controlled creatures, not necessarily even like the other characters that you can play as, but little slugs and spiky things and ice balls that you then have to... There's various different modes that happen in this one, where it's either you got to survive for a certain amount of time without dying to get a level, or you got to kill so many creatures within a certain amount of time to get it, or kill so many creatures before you die 3 times to advance to the next portion. And each of these have all got like different tiers too. So you'll start out on like big trainee level to beginner to apprentice to master, and like you can't play any of the other levels until you complete the other ones. But then there's also the survival mode of endless bottom up, where you just fight hordes of enemies until you die.
Yeah. But
so I mean, there is some single player content there.
But
and you can also play that with friends too. So if you've got a friend next to you, they can play that along with you and help you achieve all of your target goals.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It's enjoyable.
Would you say, though, this is more geared towards co-op mode than single player?
Yeah, most definitely, because even the battle mode, which is in the name of the game as brief battles, you have to have somebody sitting next to you to actually do the arena-based fights, because there's no online multiplayer, which is the biggest drawback of this game.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, if you live alone and don't have any friends, you're just going to be playing these challenges the entire time. But the fights themselves, if you do have somebody next to you, are enjoyable, and they're super fast-paced, and there's different packages there as well. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Where you can collect different items that'll give you health boosts or damage your opponent, and you guys can kind of like battle your way to try to get the best pair of underwear that's out there to get to the superpower that you exactly want it to, and zipping in and out of portals. And I'd imagine, unfortunately, I've only got 2 PlayStation 2 controllers. PlayStation 2 controllers. PlayStation 4 controllers. I do only have 2 PlayStation 2 controllers as well. So I didn't quite get a 4-player action going. It was always just one-on-one.
Okay. But I mean, that sounds like it would be a fun party game if you
if you had a couple of people over and a couple of adult beverages in your hand, you'd have a great time with it.
Yeah. So I guess what are some aspects of the game that you really enjoyed, and what are some aspects that, besides the online, that you feel like could have been improved?
Graphically, it was fantastic. It looks and plays like a cartoon. The controls, there's 4 different buttons that you use the entire time, so controls are not a big deal at all. If you can press 4 buttons, you can play this game. The powers are all really... You can tell exactly which power who has as well by the aura surrounding their figure, which makes that... You know what you're going up against. It'd almost be kind of nice if it had, like, if you've got fire going against ice or whatever, the ice was stronger than the fire, but it doesn't play out that way either. Like, there's no elemental benefit to having one over the other. It's just a matter of preference as to what they are. Of course, there are some levels that have got ice on them, so you slide around on the ice, and if you're in the water, you move a little bit slower. And there's sections even of the different levels where if you're standing on that part for too long, like a little trap door thing will open up, and there's some of them too where if you hit them, it'll spin and you can use it defensively. Level design's super cool. It plays great. It looks great. My biggest complaint, again, is just the lack of online multiplayer.
Yeah.
The music's a little redundant. It doesn't stick with you, but it doesn't hurt it either. It's just kind of music. It's pretty epic when you first fire it up, and it's like a big charging into battle, dun 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 type of a song. And
yeah.
It never really sways from there.
Oh.
But this game would just benefit so much from some online multiplayer.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, you said that there's talks about DLC, right? Or some.
Yeah, I either read that somewhere or that it was on one of their loading screens saying keep your eye out for free DLC incoming in the future. So hopefully that's a thing, and hopefully they do tack on some multiplayer, because I'd like to briefly battle people online.
Yeah. And your review is up at gamerheadspodcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your final grade?
I gave it a C+. It's good for what it is. It just needs a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, no, it sounds like a fair score. So, cool. Well, thanks, Phil, for joining us and providing a review of Brief Battles.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
And welcome back to GamerHeads. Okay, this week, our hot topic is around the Microsoft and Sony collaborating on streaming technology together, and what does that mean for us as gamers, or does it mean anything for us as gamers? So recently there was actually quite a few articles published on this, but it sounds like Sony is turning to Microsoft and saying, "Hey, can you help us with the streaming technology? You guys are kind of the experts in that, if you will. So the cloud." Streaming technology with Microsoft Azure, and they are like collaborating together. Mm-hmm. And some people thought, wow, does that mean we'll have cross-play compatibility now between the two because they're using the same streaming technology? And my answer is probably not. I don't think that makes a difference at all. So I wanted to get your thoughts on what does that mean? What do you guys think this means? And I have some other additional thoughts too.
Well, the joke that I've been hearing going around is that the console wars are now over. Thank you for playing.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa.
Please remember to check for your belongings on your way out.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's premature. But
yeah.
I think I think it mostly, to me, seems to show where does the industry see itself in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that every time we talk about streaming games or digital games, generally the feedback we get is that that's not what people want. We want our physical copies.
Yeah.
But Sony and Microsoft, I think, don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is a response to Google's streaming service that they're going to be coming out, their gaming streaming service.
Right? The
Absolutely.
enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this shows that they actually are very, very concerned with Google's they're taking them seriously, and I guess we should probably too. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Christian?
Yeah, I think this is just kind of a brief and limited partnership in order to try and prepare themselves for the competition that's coming from Google Stadia's side, because they're clearly not yet prepared for they clearly weren't prepared for that announcement, despite the fact that PlayStation's been running a streaming service, PlayStation Now, for years now, and they bought Gaikai to kind of kickstart that venture, which hasn't been very successful. And Microsoft already announced that they have intentions for streaming in the future, and there have been rumors for a year now saying that their next box is going to have nothing in it. It's just going to be a streaming box or something along those lines, be a budget box. So they both kind of had intentions to go to that future, but they want to, join forces on the online streaming side of things, I think. I don't think it'll be anything more than that. You're not going to see Master Chief in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2, and you're not going to see Nathan Drake as a skin in Halo 6, Halo Infinite. So I think, this will just be pretty limited to try and weather the competition that they're going to see on Google's end.
Yeah. Blue, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
No, I didn't. Just kind of agreeing. Though I think it makes sense from their perspective because Microsoft lacks the market share, at least in Japan, but who knows? I don't know how much else. And then if Sony lacks the streaming infrastructure, why the heck not, I suppose, from their perspective.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I think this is where people like when I saw people are like, does this mean crossplay compatibility is going to happen? I mean, Microsoft, not even just from the gaming perspective, but I mean, Microsoft Azure, I mean, a lot of people use that cloud technology outside of gaming. So, I mean, like, their infrastructure that they have for that is just just that, like it's an infrastructure, and it's no different than like any other company that are looking for like what are some ways that we can utilize the cloud, right? And it doesn't mean anything about the ability for them to do like cross-play compatibility now because of the fact that they're using the infrastructure that Microsoft is providing to them. I think that is taking it to a level that that's not. I don't think that means anything at this point.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, this could lay the groundwork going forward for all kinds of things. We don't really know. Yeah,
get the relationship kick-started.
Well, I would say maybe from a relationship standpoint, maybe, but I don't know if I mean, like, because I mean, there's a lot of companies that use different cloud services, and that would mean like, oh, well, because that company uses it, then you'll be able to, like, let's say like somebody uses Amazon's cloud services. Oh, since they use their, Amazon's cloud services, like now they can purchase stuff on Amazon.com like a lot easier. That doesn't mean that at all. Like it's just infrastructure that's out there that the technology and that's. But I mean, yeah, maybe from a partnership standpoint, maybe that will like strengthen their partnership. And I feel like there's something that PlayStation's offering to them. I thought there was something about the AI capability, so they're going to work together on AI capabilities. Like, so I mean, there is some give and take with this too. I mean, but I mean, I think I don't know. I just think that it's interesting that people feel like this is like the light at the end of the tunnel, and there's not going to be any more, like you said, no more console wars. And I'm like, I don't.
Well,
think
we're still
that's
getting
true.
PS5 and
Yeah,
whatever the new Xbox will be.
yeah. It's not going to be a Microsoft PlayStation.
Yeah, the console wars will continue in some aspect, at least, until everybody goes to that fully digital future that we fear so much.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Roger. If you don't think we're going to see, seamless cross-play compatibility across all PlayStation, Sony, and Xbox, Microsoft consoles, then do you think we'll see anything out of this little partnership that we got going on? Will we see like a PlayStation Now Pro or something like that? Or will we see Microsoft's future streaming service, do you think, will be even better because of this partnership?
I think that Sony's streaming services, I don't know. See, I feel like they'll probably offer like a better product from a streaming perspective, but I don't know if that's what people want. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I feel
Why
like
would they not want a better product?
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking, like, what are people complaining about the PlayStation Now? Like, why do people not buy into that?
I played a game on it a week ago.
Okay, and?
It was Asura's Wrath.
Okay.
Asura's Wrath, I'm sorry. And that game has a lot of QuickTime events, which were not conducive to input lag on PlayStation Now, which was noticeable. It was short, but the input lag was noticeable. To the extent that I wouldn't want to spend the crazy... Like, their price is more expensive than Game Pass by far. I think it's like... Oof, I could be way off, but I think it's like $25 a month, $30 a month, something like that. Right. As opposed to Game Pass is like 10. And so, like, you get access to more games. There's like 700 games there, but I don't want to play the games when they feel like that.
Yeah. Well, and see, I think that's because I don't play PlayStation Now. But maybe if the games are better and the technology, if it's a better infrastructure, maybe the price of that will come down because of the fact that technology is more, readily available to them. Maybe that will be something that PlayStation can tap into. But I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird that everybody's looking for streaming services at this point. And I mean, it is weird because I feel like the general public doesn't necessarily, this is not what they're clamoring about. They're not asking for this.
Well, it depends on who you say by the general public.
Yeah, there's a lot of Google Stadia buzz.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people out there in the world who are, fully looking forward to Google Stadia and love the digital stuff. And then it's kind of just like our niche world of hardcore gamers that seem to be, we fear change.
So, I mean, do you think this is too reactive, though? I mean,
I don't think so.
No, I don't know.
Look at Google. Look at how big they are and how much they accomplish. I think that it's better to be prepared for them and then to turn out not have needed to do it than the reverse.
I think it's possible, though. It's possible that they're being reactive to the extent that Google Stadia isn't out yet, so we don't know what it is. And I feel like what this partnership could be is them scrambling to come up with something where they're like, oh no, Google Stadia figured it out, and we've been trying this for 3 years, and we haven't figured it out yet. If Google can do it, they must know something that we have to figure out together. But maybe Google hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
We don't know. But I mean, I played the Google Stream beta. They've got something figured out.
Well, yeah, if they've moved forward this much without figuring it out, then they are really stupid.
I'm
not sure that they are that stupid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I agree. When is Stadia coming out?
I think they said the end of this year or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely a 2019 release date, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, I think the thing that, like I said before, I think the thing that will come out of this is more of a partnership of working together. Like I'm excited for that, but I guess we'll see how what the future holds in regards to these two companies. And then what is Nintendo going to do? Like in Nintendo, like one news thing we didn't bring up, and I was going to, but they came up with that voucher system. Do you guys see this?
No.
Yeah.
And so you can buy 2 game vouchers for $99.
Yes.
Digital only. And then you can use those vouchers on like I guess they keep adding new games to like this voucher.
Yeah, it's only
program?
for certain
First
approved
party,
games.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
So like you can buy like Mario's or Yoshi's Crafted World or Mario Odyssey, and I think even like Ultimate Alliance. So the idea is that these games are $60, and if you use the 2 vouchers, then you can save yourself $20, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So. But I mean, even that is a push towards more digital. I mean, not the same. It's not like streaming, but certainly a push towards digital purchases. I don't know. And people were kind of mad about. I mean, I know this is a little off topic, but people were kind of mad about that, saying, "What about us that buy it physical? Like, you're not giving us any chance to kind of tap into this."
I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal
Yeah.
anyway that I would rush out and buy all these vouchers.
Yeah.
And it's like that whole caveat of the select games. It's only good for select games. I was like, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I am excited about this partnership is that, if they're working together, maybe they can, 2 heads are better than 1, right? So this working together might be able to come up with some really cool game streaming and artificial intelligence. And that's kind of exciting. But will it compete with Google? I don't know.
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows at this point. So, anyway, any final thoughts on on this topic?
You nailed it, Roger.
Yep.
Well, I thought that was just everybody's first response was, "Oh man, like this means crossplay," and I'm like, I don't think so. I think it just means better services.
But I think it's a
better
reasonable
technology.
expectation, though.
That'd be
a
cool.
reasonable thought, but
Yeah, but I still think that there's,
it would be really cool if you could subscribe to a single streaming service and be able to play on either one. That would be really cool.
That would be cool. That would be cool. That would be really cool. I don't think we'll ever see that day, but that would be cool.
Come on. Roger's just Mr. Naysayer today.
Yes.
So, anyway, listeners, what are your thoughts on the partnership between Microsoft and Sony on the game streaming technology and the AI technology? You can send us a tweet. You can send us a tweet at GamerHeadsPC. You can also send us an email at info@gamerheadspodcast.com. You can go to facebook.com/GamerHeadsPodcast, or you can go to our website, and that's GamerHeadsPodcast.com, and leave us a message there. There is one last thing I'll just say, that there was a quote here from the president of Sony. It says, I hope that in the areas of semiconductors and AI, leveraging each company's cutting-edge technology in a mutually complementary way will lead to the creation of new value for society. So that's cool. Like that I'm excited about.
Such a PR statement.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So and then there was another quote here from, last one here. That this is from the director of games and research and lead AR and VR analyst at IHS Market. I don't know what that is, but this is from. His name is Piers Harding Rolls, and he says, for Sony to scale its offering in a similar way promised by Microsoft with Project X Cloud and Google with Stadia, it needs to partner to compete. So it sounds like this is really going to benefit Sony a lot more than the other way around, but we'll see. All right. So before we go, then let's go around and tell people how they can get a hold of us. And Christian, how can people get a hold of you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Christian Cubs. Otherwise, you can read my reviews at Per Square, New Game Network, and GamerHeadsPodcast.com.
Nice. And Blue, how can people get a hold of you?
You can almost always find me on Twitter. My handle is @WritersView, and it's spelled with a Y, so WRY. And then I also have a website, which is writersview.com.
And listeners, as I said before, you can always find us on Twitter, and that's GamerHeadsPC, Facebook.com/GamerHeadsPodcast, or go to our website, and that's GamerHeadsPodcast.com. And if you do like the show, we would love to hear what kind of feedback you have. You can leave us messages on iTunes. You can leave us reviews there, I should say. We'd love to hear what you have to say. So do leave us reviews, and we'll read them on the air. All right, with that, Christian, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me, Roger.
And Blue, thank you for joining us this week.
You're welcome.
And listeners, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule and giving us a listen. We really appreciate it. All right, until next week, keep playing games, and we'll talk to you next week. See ya.
Bye.
Adios.